Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this amazing venue. That's the line I should have used last week at my daughter's wedding. But with all the pressure of trying to write the wedding speech, as well as prepare material for today, I completely mixed up the opening lines. So instead of a warm welcome and a pleased to see you all, I started off with, "Fuck me! I didn't think this many would turn up." Now, I've been a frequent visitor over the years to Spain and many of its islands, so a couple of years ago I decided I would start to try and learn the language. And it's going okay actually, so gracias for asking. But, thank you. Now, what I did discover fairly early on is that there are a lot of words in Spanish that are exactly the same as those in English. And it really helps to build your vocabulary. But there are also some traps, some pitfalls, words that look very much like English words, but actually mean something completely different. These are known as false friends. So earlier this year, I popped across to Tenerife and I was up in one of the villages in the hills, away from the tourist areas, sat at a coffee shop, and I knocked a teaspoon off the table. As I bent down to pick the teaspoon up, a small fart sneaked out, amplified by the plastic seating. Embarrassed, I looked up nervously to see if anybody had noticed. The couple at the next table was staring at me. "Lo siento, estoy muy embarazada," I said. "I'm sorry, I'm very pregnant." Now, seeing that they had a small child with them, about the same age as my grandson, who was running around excitedly, I attempted to tell them this. "Él tiene 5 años y siempre está excitado," I said. Unfortunately, this came out as, "He has 5 arseholes and is continually aroused." Bit of work to be done on the Duolingo, I think. Now, if I could see anybody in the audience, I'm sure there are people here who are at least as old as me. Thank you. And I'm sure some of you may recall at some point in the past having received a parcel through the post from the NHS. An invitation to a health screening. The sort of screening that you hope the person doing it has warmed their hands first. So, I booked my appointment and put the parcel away and forgot about it until the day in question. So I opened the box and looked inside. A small cylinder full of liquid and an instruction sheet. Oh Jesus, this doesn't look too pleasant. Thankfully, my wife was out. So I took myself to the bathroom, removed my trousers and my undercrackers, and proceeded to open the box properly. I looked at the instructions: take cylinder B, insert into hole A, and press. Well, I'm buggered if I could find hole A. I was writhing around on the floor for 5 minutes or more with no success whatsoever. So eventually I'm looking at this thing in my hand thinking, what the hell is this bloody thing working? So I'm pushing and poking and prodding with this thing, and eventually it squirts and goes straight in my face. So this liquid that I was supposed to have injected up my jacksie was now in my mouth, my eyes, and my nose. I was fucking furious. So there I am, writhing around again on the floor, trying to find this fucking hole A. Eventually, I locate the spot. I insert the cylinder and I press. Just at that precise moment, the door opened and my wife looked in. I was naked from the waist down, with a cylinder hanging out of my arse. The look of horror on both of our faces was a picture. I was lost for words. All I could think was, as I looked at her, "Darling, estoy muy embarazada." I'll leave you with one final thing. This is one of my favourite jokes, and I first heard this over 40 years ago when I was still a teenager. It was told to me by a mate. We were at his parents' house. They were having a posh dinner party. Me and a couple of pals had been invited across to keep him in check, and we were sat on the terrace outside of the dining room window. Now, the reason this joke still resonates with me after all those years is because in his very loud voice, he continually kept getting the punchline wrong. And I can still see the horror on the faces of some of those diners. So I guess you want to hear the joke. Thank you. Quite simply, what is the difference between a policeman's truncheon and a magician's wand? Clearly the answer is, one is used for cunning stunts.